The Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II. Fairchild Republic created the single-seat, twin-engine, straight-wing subsonic assault Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II for the U.S. Air Force. It has been in service since 1976 and is named after the P-47 Thunderbolt, a World War II fighter-bomber known as the Warthog or Hog, and efficient at hitting ground targets. The A-10 production made aircraft construction specifically for close air support that has operated with the U.S. Air Force. It was created to provide close air support to Allied ground troops by striking armored vehicles, tanks, and other hostile ground forces. Its secondary task is to give orders and strike targets on the ground. Specifications: equipped with two General Electric TF-34 GE100A turbofans, one 30mm GAU-8A Avenger rotary cannon with 1,704 rounds. One thing about the rounds fired by the A-10 is that they're the size of a beer bottle. 4 LAU-61 or LAU-68 rocket pods with 70mm Hydra rockets, 6 LAU-131 pods with 7 Hydra 70mm rockets, 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders, air-to-air missiles for self-defense, 6 AGM-65 Maverick surface-to-air missiles, Mark 80 unguided bombs, Mark 77 incendiary bombs, BLU-1, 27, 20, 775, and CB 52, 58, 71, 87, 89, and 97 cluster bombs, or paveway laser-guided bombs, JDAMs, wing-corrected munition dispensers, SUU-42A flare dispensers, and chaff pods, or the Lockheed Martin Sniper XR pod. Design and development. After World War II, the United States' efforts to develop a tactical aircraft were contracted to the delivery of nuclear weapons using high-speed models like the McDonnell F-101 Voodoo and Republic F-105 Thunderchief, which I somewhat covered in my Centuries series video. As a result of the development, conventionally armed attack aircraft came to a standstill. The Douglas A-1 Skyraider from the Korean War served as the U.S. military's primary ground attack aircraft as it entered into the Vietnam War. The propeller-driven design was rather sluggish. It was nicknamed the Spad by the troops, and vulnerable to ground fire. But it was a formidable aircraft for its day, with a sizable payload and extended loiter period. 266 A-1s were lost in combat in Vietnam by the U.S. Air Force and Navy, primarily due to small arms fire. Additionally, the A-1 Skyraider had weak weaponry, only 4 20mm fixed cannons. Calls for a specialist attack aircraft were sparked by the absence of a contemporary conventional assault capacity aircraft. On June 7, 1961, Robert McNamara, then Secretary of Defense, gave the USAF the order to create two tactical aircraft, one for long-range strike and interdiction duties, the other for the fighter-bomber role. The former was the Tactical Fighter Experimental TFX program, which eventually led to the General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, which I covered briefly in my Century Series video, while the latter was filled by a modified McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II from the U.S. Navy. The Phantom was the proficient fighter-bomber and went to become one of the most popular fighter designs from the 1960s. But its short loader time and, to a lesser extent, poor low-speed performance were significant drawbacks, with a flyaway cost of $2 million in 1965 and operational expenditures of more than $9,900 per hour. It was also a costly. Calls for a specialist attack aircraft were sparked by the absence of contemporary conventional assault capacity aircraft. On June 7, 1961, Robert McNamara, then Secretary of Defense, gave the USAF the order to create two tactical aircraft, one for long-range strike and interdiction duty, and the other one for a fighter-bomber role. The former was the Tactical Fighter Experimental Program, or TFX, which led to the General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, which I briefly covered in my Century Series video. The latter was a modified McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, which was from the U.S. Navy, which I covered also. The Phantom was also a proficient fighter-bomber and went to become one of the most popular fighter designs of the 1960s, but its shorter loader time and to a lesser extent poor low-speed performance were significant drawbacks. In the end, the Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II is a very good ground attack aircraft that is still in service 50 years after its development. It is comparable to the Sukhoi Su-25 and Ilyushin IL-102. Sadly, it might end up being replaced in the next few years by the Lockheed F-35 Lightning II. If you have any aircraft to recommend, leave them in the comments down below, and as always,